What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Raw Reacts. Like, comment, subscribe. Give y'all an update on this Diddy trial. Let's go, baby.
So, guys, I hate to say it, but Dawn Richard was destroyed on the stand today. Miss Westmoreland was asking her, so did you pretend to do, D's with Diddy? And she said, yes. She said, oh, so that was a facade. She said, have you seen Diddy do the boog shug? She said she never told the government that she saw him do the boog shug. You told the government you never saw him do the boog shug. Testimony has changed quite a few times, Miss Westmoreland said. As time goes on, your story seems to change. And Dawn literally said yes.
Wow.
So, and then another one stop. That's the D dealer who would bring Diddler his substances. But the thing is, Dawn said, yes, I saw Diddy buy it from him. But then in the testimony, the cross-examination, she says she never actually saw him give the money, but saw assistants give money. So you see the loopholes these lawyers deal with. So the assistant gave the money, but not Diddy. And the lawyer said, so that was a lie. Another story change.
Wow.
Yes, different. She texted Diddy. Also, she wanted to get back into business with him. And everybody keeps saying, if Diddler threatened your life, why would you ever want to go back?
Wow.
And again, this just shows, the level of assault, the level of how bad you want your dream. And the Diddler was a gatekeeper to
That's what it sounds like.
So even though she had been through all that stuff, she still was willing to go back. I'm going to go back in, guys. I got to get back in the court.
More and more it's starting to sound like scorned artists that never made it. That's what it sounds. That's what it's starting to sound like to me. And don't get this twisted. I believe that Diddy is a filthy human being. I think what he did was absolutely disgusting in every way. But at the same time, what he did doesn't sound like what he did was illegal from what I'm seeing so far. I mean, besides the beating Cassie part, but I mean, everything else sounds like it was consensual. Like people wanted to be around him for the opportunities that he offered and shit. Like it just is what it is. So much so that Dawn was hitting Diddy up in 2021, still looking for opportunities. That's right. If he's threatening you and he scared you and he was such a fucked up person, like why are you still in contact with him at all? This doesn't make sense. Sounds like a money grab to me. Let's continue.
Dawn took the stand, but what exactly did her testimony really prove? Let's be real. It wasn't sex trafficking. It wasn't RICO. So why does it matter? I'm Stuana Dasari. I'm an experienced prosecutor who's tried SA cases as well as human trafficking cases. So here's my take on Dawn's testimony. You remember Dawn from Danity Kane. She was a former Danity Kane singer. And when she testified, her continued testimony today, she told about instances where she saw Diddy allegedly beat Cassie, and based on her testimony, made a threat to her and several witnesses. Now, the most shocking was a 2009 incident where Diddy allegedly tried to hit Cassie with a skillet. Then he beat her and dragged her. And afterwards, he threatened her and another witness saying, quote, people go missing when they talk. Now, let that sink in. That's not drama. That's intimidation, or at least that's what the prosecution is saying. But defense attorney Nicole Westmoreland, I thought she did a great job trying to discredit Dawn by saying she didn't tell prosecutors this statement earlier on in her interviews with prosecutors. They also hit on the fact that she wasn't doing well in her career as a artist. And they also, what I thought was pretty good on their part, brought up the fact that Dawn contacted Diddy after experiencing all of this, after seeing this, after this allegedly being threatened.
And that's what this sounds like, man. Your career's not going good. You're still looking for opportunities from a guy that you claim is a horrible person or threatening your life. If you went through all of that, why would you still be hitting him up for anything? For anything? I mean, it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, man.
Allegedly being threatened, she actually called Diddy to work with him again. And so Attorney Westmoreland was able to bring that out. Now, regardless to whatever side you fall on regarding how helpful Dawn's testimony was or not, and if you're one of those people who think that her testimony was heavy, it doesn't automatically prove sex
Yeah.
trafficking or
Yep.
racketeering.
And guys, that's ultimately what Diddy is there for. He's there for sex trafficking, racketeering, RICO case. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to prove that he was a part of a criminal organization, that he was like the head guy. You know what I mean? And they're trying to also prove that he was sex trafficking prostitutions, state to state. That's what they're trying to prove here. But they can't for some reason. They can't. These people are just talking about how he was abusive to Cassie, and yeah, that's domestic violence, but that's not RICO, and that's certainly not sex trafficking.
Something else. Her testimony directly supports Cassie's domestic violence claims. It helps show a pattern of physical abuse, and it helps the jury to say maybe, just maybe, Cassie was scared. Maybe she didn't feel safe to leave, and maybe that is the reason for her delayed reporting. That's the key to credibility and to explaining Cassie's long silence. Now let's talk about trafficking.
See, now to me, that would make more sense if Cassie wasn't still going back and having an affair with Diddy while she was married to this Alex Fine guy. If she wasn't still texting Diddy, "I'm so lost without you," after all this time, like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to say that she was just scared. And the minute they try to pull that, the defense will dismantle that argument rather quickly. Especially given the fact that it was read out in court, I think Friday or Saturday, I think it was Friday, that, you know, she was seeing Diddy on the side and still attending freak-offs with him while she was dating Alex.
His long silence. Now let's talk about trafficking. That charge requires force, fraud, or coercion used to push someone into commercial sex acts. Now, I keep telling you guys in my earlier posts that sex trafficking does not just involve handcuffs. Remember, handcuffs can also be the ones that you don't see, which is mental handcuffs. So Dawn's testimony is basically corroborating that Cassie didn't feel free to leave, and her participation in these FOs were done by coercion or fear. Dawn doesn't say anything. She doesn't say anything about the FOs or that she witnessed any S parties.
And that also wouldn't make sense either, because Cassie was setting up some of the freak-offs. She was initiating some of the freak-offs. Text messages were proving and showing that a lot of the times, I don't say a lot of the times, but there was some times where Diddy was kind of being standoffish about it, and she was the one that was being the aggressor. Like, she was pursuing it. She wanted it. It's not going to make very much sense if they try to use that.
She witnessed any S parties. So her value there, indirect at best. Same with RICO. To prove that, prosecutors need an organized criminal enterprise with repeated illegal acts. And they do not show that through Dawn's testimony.
At all.
Her story shows that Diddy was violent, maybe even threatening if you believe her story. But that's not the same as showing he ran a coordinated criminal network. So bottom line, Dawn helps the prosecution emotional story, not necessarily their legal burden. And she makes Cassie look believable, more credible, but she's not the key, as you probably have already pieced together, to locking in on trafficking or RICO. So if you're watching this trial closely, don't confuse impact with proof.
And that's the truth, man. And Cassie is a victim of an abusive, toxic relationship. Yes, she is a victim of that. We're not, nobody's denying that here. But they are trying to hit him with a RICO charge and sex trafficking, and this proves none of that. Now, maybe later on, because this is a 2-month trial, maybe later on, they might find something from, I think they got like 15 other witnesses they still have to put on the stand. But as of right now, it doesn't look very good for the prosecution. It doesn't look very good for these guys. The best thing that they could do, and what I think they're going to try to do, is play on the feelings of the jury a little bit and make them dislike him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not very good if the jury dislikes you. You know, like if you're nobody really likes woman beaters and wife. They don't really like that type of stuff. So they're gonna have a little bit of vitriol towards you just because of that. But does it prove any of that other stuff? As of right now, no, it doesn't. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go, baby.